So we've been dealing with the select statements. We have already treated most of the clauses here. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've dealt with the select statements. We've dealt with the select from clause, the where clause, the group by clause, having clause, other by clause. We've dealt with all that. Okay, so the only thing we didn't talk about is the last clause or clauses here, the offset and the limit. Now, the offset and limit are used for what is called pagination. Okay, let's say, for instance, you need to display data from a very large table, from a table that contains very many rows, maybe thousands of rows or something, or hundreds of rows. And you don't want to display all the rows at the same time. Okay, so in such a situation, I'm trying to see if okay, I have an example here. Yeah. In such a situation, you may want to use the limit clause. Okay, and sometimes that goes with the offset. Okay, so you may, for example, if you want to limit the number of rows displayed at a time to 100, you just simply say limit 100, something like that. The offset is used to indicate the number, the row number to start from. Okay, so let's see an example of that. I think I have one on this slide. Okay, all right. So okay, this may not tally with what we are doing. So let's go to MySQL Workbench. So look at this statement. Let's do a general select statement. Select suppose I say here limit 5. Okay, so what this does, if you have you can try it out on your end. If I do the normal, the regular select statement like that, you can see it's giving me how many rows here? 7 rows. Okay, now, but if I say limit 3, it's going to limit it to, it's going to limit the output to the first 3 rows. Okay, so you can see now it's giving me just 3 rows. Do you get it? Is it clear? Now it's giving me just 3 rows. Let me run the now I want you to observe something here. You have 102, 102, 103, so on. Okay, you can see we are seeing, okay, tell me, what are the student IDs you can see? What are the student IDs you are seeing?
I think four is omitted.
Okay, what you are seeing, 1002, 003, 1005, and so on. I just want you to observe it. That's what I'm asking you. Okay, you can see it, right? Okay, so now watch and see. So what was the first one? What are the first three? You see, it's those first three that are displaying now, right? Okay. But if I say, what's your observation? What did you observe? Anybody can speak. If you want to say anything, just some. So these two statements are doing the same thing. Okay. So like I said, this statement is going to select display the rows beginning from the skipping the first two. That's to say beginning from the third one because of this offset. Offset of 2 means skip the first 2 rows and
Okay.
display only 3 rows.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what happens sometimes when you are browsing or you're using a program and you know you have to go through maybe a large number of rows is retrieved and it doesn't show everything at once. It just shows some. Then maybe in the application, you have to click next to show the next set. You click next again to show the next set. So people that write such programs at the background within the application, they apply this statement, this type of statement. This is what they use for displaying those output you see page by page.
Focus area.
Yes, yes. Even like for instance, or you do a Google search, you see it will give you page 1, page 2, page 3, and so forth. Hope we have all noticed that before. So that's what is useful to implement that at the SQL level. Okay, so that brings us to the end of select statement. Although we'll still revisit select, we still play around with select. We use we are going to still come back to use several functions, along with the select statement. But for now, we are going to move on to another type of statement. Okay, I'm going to move on. Let me see. Let me open up the next slide so we can forge ahead. So let's see how the update statement works. MySQL update statement. The update statement is a DML statement. DML means data manipulation language. We are going to look at the various type classification of, we are going to look at the classification of SQL statements as we get along. So don't worry about that. But just note for now that updates belong to the category called DML, which is data manipulation language. And it is used to modify data stored in a MySQL table. In real life scenarios, records are changed from time to time. For example, you have an account with a bank. Sometimes you approach the bank and say, maybe you want to inform them your phone number has changed, your address has changed, or stuff like that. So how do they implement that? Don't forget that they usually have a database where all customer information are stored. Okay, so that database will need to be updated. Your record, in such a case, your record will need to be updated in the database. Okay, and to do that, to do such, the update statement is used. Right? We use the update statement for that. So the update statement is used with the set clause. The set clause is used to change the value of the specific column. Now, if you want to update a database, you do it column by column. Okay, we can update a single column or multiple columns at the same time. In most cases, it's necessary to use the update clause with the where clause. You have to really get that point. This is to avoid unintentional updates of all rows at the same time. Okay, so there are some operations. When you carry out some operations, the where clause, proves very important, extremely important. Okay, that's something you must get used to, as you work with SQL. So particularly when you are doing something like updates, delete, especially those two, delete and update. Okay, they are very sensitive. So the where clause is used most of the time. Most of the time when you do an update, you use the where clause. When you do a delete, you use the where clause. Okay, I will show you why that is the case. So let's move on. Now, this is the basic syntax of the update statements, and this is the syntax we are going to use today. This is the basic syntax. There's a syntax that is a little bit more detailed than this, which we will use later. But most times you do the update statement, this is the statement you use. Okay, update table name, set column. The name of the column equals the value of the column, the name of the second column equals values, and so on. So you can update one or more columns at the same time, where condition. Okay. Now this is the more detailed, the full syntax, which I said we'll revisit. We'll visit later. Let's move on. Okay. Now, basically, let's see how this works, this basic syntax. Let's see how the basic syntax works, first of all. Okay, so now let's go to Workbench. Now I want to create another query, another scripts window here. New query tab. What do you think I want to name this? What name should we give to this?
Just put any name now. Put class work.
Okay, so the reason I asked, I just wanted to remember if you know if you remember what we did last time. This is the naming convention that
Okay.
we're using. We call this select statement. So we are going to call this update statement. Let's call this one update statement. Update statement. In fact, this time I want to add, let me add the MySQL update statements. I want to add MySQL to this one as well. MySQL select statements. Okay, so that's when you save your files like this, it helps you, when you are doing revision, it's very easy for you to locate what you are looking for. Okay, so let's go to our update statement. Now, first of all, which did I say is the most commonly used statement in MySQL?
Said the where statement.
The most commonly used statement.
Select
Select.
statement.
Select statement. Yeah. Why? Why do you think that is the case? Why do you think that's the case?
I think because it's applicable in almost all the statements that you are going to be carrying out.
Yes, because see, the select statement is what you use to inspect your data. If you want to see what's in your table, is the select statement you use to display what is in the table. You understand? And as an analyst, from time to time, you always want to see what's going on, right? Right. For example, now, as I just told you that we are about to look at update statement, but I'm starting with select statement. Why? Because it is select that will show me what is in the table. So I want to see the
Yeah.
content of the table before I decide on what we are going to update. So whether you want to do insert, delete, update, or whatever you want to do, most of the time you resort to select statement to inspect and see what's going on. Okay. Even after updating, I'll still need to use select statement to check if the update was executed as expected. So you see that as an analyst, you use the select statement all the time. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. What's going on? Select all from student or admission. Why is it not executing? Table student or admission does not exist. Is my spelling wrong? Oh, my spelling is wrong. Admission. I use double M. All right, so now I want us to do an update here. I want to do an update here. Okay, so I want to say update. Update what? You remember the
Student
syntax I
admission.
showed you? We are updating a table. You always update the table. Student dot admission. Set. So look at this. Let's assume that I want to change this email. Maybe Gmail was wrongly entered instead of Yahoo, right? So I want to correct it. So I will say set email equals all 23
Oh,
at yahoo.com, where what? Because now I'm going to use the student ID to trace this row,
okay.
to ensure that I get the correct row. I'm going to use the key
Correct.
field, which is the student ID.
One,
So I'm
one
going
zero,
to, yes, where student ID equals
100.
1002. Yeah, that is it. So now take notes. Take notes. This is where select statement helps us. You can see that
Okay.
Thomas Paul's email is right now paul23@gmail.com. That's the current email, but Paul complained that his email was wrongly entered as a Gmail instead of a Yahoo mail. So that's what we are trying to correct now. So let me run this and let's see what happens. Okay. Now what happens? It will not show you anything. Why? Because it's not a select statement. But if you come down here, you see it's telling you that one row affected, one row changed, one in 0, which means the statement was executed successfully. So let's go and let's select again and see what Paul's email will be now. Can you see it?
Okay. It has changed.
That's changed. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's how you do a select statement. Now, I was telling you about the where clause. If I didn't put this where clause, what do you think would have happened? If I didn't put this where clause, you know what would have happened? I'm not going to do it. I don't want to get things messed up. If I didn't put this where clause, if I had just run it like this, what would have done is that you would have
It
given
will just,
everybody this same email.
okay.
Would have given this email to all the students. So you see why I
Yeah.
said where clause is very important when you are doing update. If that happens, then that will mess up the database. That will be a
Your
problem.
database.
That will be a problem. So the where clause is extremely important when you are dealing with update. Extremely. Because the where clause you will use to locate the exact row
Yeah.
that you want to
So,
target. So this is how the update statement works. Okay, so now, but one thing you should know is that you can update multiple columns at the same time. So let's assume that somebody has two issues, like this guy that is doing MMS is actually, let's assume he's actually doing data analytics, not MMS.